Hey, social media, this is Claude Robert Hill IV. Most folks call me Chili Pauls or Dr. Chili Pauls, Pauls and Pauls. I want to share some of my poetry that I wrote last year about black on black crime in the black community. Its impact on me as an instructor, as a writer, as a poet, and someone who sees that the same old routine of deaths and non-intervention is killing the soul of the black community. So the poem is called Ode to the African American Babies, written by me, Claude Robert Hill IV, Chili Pauls, Pauls and Pauls, March of last year, 2013. It has various sections to it, so this is just what was on my heart, and I want to share that with you. The first section is called Gangster Overseers. Cowards are walking the streets with blindfolds, making that cash, robbing that ass, killing the now silent babies. The babies of a deafening community ear that stands by without the common sense to hear the tears and the whispers of deaths on the horizon. So focused on gaining material shit bit by bit, boom, 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 here goes the next hit. And everyone is an equal opportunity mark for the coward's ball. The events of all events rid us of the pulse, the blood of community renewal in slow motion free fall. I'm losing the strength to stand up against a fatherless and motherless black man. The prisons perform their Oliver and twists, while coroners whose heads bowed heavily after examining split wrists. The next section is called The Muted Resistance. Peoples of color have surrendered the fight, the means to congregate on the heels of a grander sight. I Have a Dream has been pissed and dissed on and now a sore blight, on a promise that once had longevity and the seal of civil rights. Now the silver is laid to rest on hollow graves of a future silence forever. Live every fucking voice and sing, what? Is this the fairy tale of a separatist lie? As the world withers up like a green herb tree and people fall into darkness? The kings and queens of selectivity choose to save their riches and stuff? There is no consideration for the alternative, instead to stop the mass bounty of violence on our baby's head. The greatest ransom for the days ahead is the closed mouth that performed its sinister acts of Chi-Town death and self-dread. To initiate the final measure of a community on the edge, the death march is blasting to a madness festering in the head, and a willingness to stop the angel of death from performing the ultimate sanction. The genocide of the colored soul has reached its stereotypical and statistical conclusions. Upon the dying wastelands of where the silver of the 1960s once thread, now a little baby girl lays dead. Next section. The final bow of a colored man. I come with no more words to share. I only have enough for Chicago Transit Authority bus fare. And as a city plagued with racial stares, we the people stand by while Dr. King and Harold Washington's dreams of equality and togetherness fades, married to the lack of funding for HIV/AIDS. I take a picture of me and my family and place it in a time capsule in the backyard. Step back from its burial while being very aware and on guard. The fleeting year steals the lives of me and my family. Even the memories of the dream is eulogized finally. It is now the year 21 and 10, and the time capsule is found and unearthed. The pictures inside, mostly faded from the insides of the dirt, raises questions of race and new births. And the last part, the storyteller remembers. And so the storyteller walks forth and closely looks at the faded picture and says, oh yes, this is the people who lived long ago, who fought and sought the powers of gold through systematic death and self-inflicted genocide. The great peoples of color disappeared from God's green earth. So young people, it is with great sadness that I must be the one to say, this picture is the last of its kind from times long ago. This is the story of the African American race, and also, this is how their story ends. And the world mourns its children's demise, while those surviving few will never know the soul of the ancient and so cool that marched and drew the Nile River into existence, has now been wiped from human existence. Thank you for your time, and that is Ode to the African American Babies. Peace.